Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada 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 Gaura Pimanandi. Jayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Vraj Gacharya Stotra Satya Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charandarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind Ki Skandi Biti Founder Acharyas Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrind Ki Hari Nama Sankirtan Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Tiny Tagore Pimanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Taksurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanditam Scha Hai Krishna Kruna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the Goddess of Learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayasabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam Uttama Charitam Shakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, as Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyay Namaha. Om Sarabhyay Namaha. Om Sarabhyay Namaha. Mukam karoti vasaram pagom langayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our morning Bhagavatam class. We are continuing canto number 1, chapter 7, entitled The Son of Drona Punished. And let's see. We're doing, I think, 3-6, right? 36. Yesterday we did 2. Text 36. Matam, Pramatam, Unmatam, Suptam, Balam, Striyam, Jadam, Trapanam, Viratam, Vitam, Na, Ripum, Hanti, Dharmavit, Matam, Pramatam, Unmatam, Suptam, Balam, Striyam, Jadam, Prapanam, Viratam, Bhittam, Naripum, Hanti, Dharmavit, Matam, Pramatam, Unmattam, Suptam, Balam, Striyam, Jadam, Prapanam, Viratam, Bhittam, Naripum, Hanti, Dharmavit, Matam, Pramatam, Unmattam, Suptam, Balam, Striyam, Jadam, Prapanam, Viratham, Bhittam, Naripum, Hanti, Dharmavit,
Mattam pramatam unmattam suptam balam striyam jadam prapannam viratam vitam naripum hanti dharmavid.
Naripum hanti dharmavid.
Mattam pramattam unmattam. Mattam pramattam unmattam. Suptam balam striyam jadam. Suptam balam striyam jadam. Prapannam viratam bhitam. Prapannam viratam bhitam. Naripum hanti dharmavid. Naripum hanti dharmavid.
Matang pramatam unmatam.
Mattam pramattam unmattam.
Suptang balang striyang jadam.
Suptam balam striyam jadam.
Prapanang viratang bhitam.
Prapannam viratam bhitam.
Naribung hanti dharmavid.
Naripum hanti dharmavid.
Mattam pramattam unmattam.
Mattam pramattam unmattam.
Suptam balam striyam jadam.
Suptam balam striyam jadam.
Prapannam viratam bhitam.
Prapannam viratam bhitam.
Naripum hanti dharmavid.
Naripum hanti dharmavid.
Mattam,
Mattam
careless.
careless.
Pramatam,
Pramatam
intoxicated.
intoxicated.
Unmatam,
Unmattam
insane. Suptam,
suptam
asleep.
asleep.
Balam,
Balam
boy.
boy.
Striyam,
Striyam
woman.
woman.
Jadam,
Jadam
foolish.
foolish.
Prapanam,
Prapannam
surrendered.
surrendered.
Viratam,
Viratam
one who has lost his chariot.
one who has lost his chariot.
Viratam. Bhitam,
Bhitam
afraid.
afraid.
Na,
Na
not.
not.
Ripum,
Ripum
enemy.
enemy.
Hanti,
Hanti
kill.
ill.
Dharmavit,
Dharmavid
one who knows the principles of religion.
one who knows the principle of religion.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. Kindly repeat after me. A person who knows
A person who knows
the principles of religion
the principles of religion
does not kill an enemy
does not kill an enemy
who is careless,
who is careless,
intoxicated,
intoxicated,
insane,
insane,
asleep,
asleep,
afraid,
afraid,
or devoid of his chariot.
or devoid of his chariot.
Nor does he kill a boy,
Nor does he kill a boy,
a woman,
a woman,
a foolish creature,
a foolish creature,
or a surrendered soul.
or a surrendered soul.
Purport. An enemy who does not resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principles of religion. Formerly, battles were fought on the principles of religion and not for the sake of sense gratification. If the enemy happened to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. These are some of the codes of religious war. Formerly, war was never declared by the whims of selfish political leaders. It was carried out on religious principles, free from all vices. Violence carried out on religious principles is far superior than to so-called non-violence. Translation again, a person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. Very interesting subject matter regarding codes of religion.
Who is speaking this verse?
This is Krishna, Lord Krishna.
So first he says,
Yesterday's verse was Krishna beginning to speak. So just to put things in context, we can read yesterday's translation. Lord Sri Krishna said, "O Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahmabandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep." And this text today is a continuation, Krishna speaking. Yeah. And he will continue speaking for a few more verses. Basically, taking the position, Krishna is taking the position that someone who kills, as mentioned here, also deserves to be killed. So there are codes of religion or principles of religion that cover also warfare. We see this in the Battle of Kurukshetra, that Dharma Kshetri, there's a particular place where wars are meant to be held, not just anywhere and everywhere, because wars are meant to be fought between warriors, not meant to involve common people or citizens, innocent people. So wars are therefore, I mean, in the Vedic times, a place. So Kurukshetra was chosen as the place for having what is known as the Battle of Kurukshetra. And also, there are many, here we're getting a little glimpse of some of the principles that one should follow. For example, wars are meant to be fought rather during the day, not at night. Only when the sun has risen, then, as it is nicely described in the Bhagavad Gita, there's that incident we know also. So during the day means from sunrise to sunset, and when Bhishmadev had decided to, after quite a few days, to actually kill Arjuna and all the Pandavas, because Duryodhana had kind of like told him he was not fighting according to his capacity. So we know that, okay, tomorrow I will finish off Arjuna and the Pandavas. And the whole Leela was going on in the late afternoon, actually. And then we know that very famous picture of Krishna to save his devotee Arjuna, picking up the broken chariot wheel and running towards Bhishmadev to actually kill him. But then the Kansh goes. So he stops everything stops when the cons goes. So there were principles. Uh, I heard that India, one of the reasons why India was successfully invaded, I believe, by the Mongols. India was invaded a number of times. Uh, was that they came to know that, oh, these people, they follow certain systems. They don't fight at night, so we'll attack them at night, isn't it? And so it's like when you're fighting with barbarians, uh, then you don't follow the codes because, you know, when one fights with people who are not fighting codes of religion, then you're not bound to follow those codes of religion. That's why Krishna advised Karna, Arjuna rather, to kill Karna, who was actually um, gotten off of his chariot because his wheel was stuck in the mud, and Arjuna was about to shoot, and Karna looked at him. What are you doing? Don't you know the codes of religion? And then Krishna told him, kill him. So one may say, well, it's mentioned you should follow the codes of religion, but in this case, not. Why not? Well, because Duryodhana and company and Karna was supporting, were not following the codes of religion. You see. So. So specifically, it mentions how young boys or somebody sleeping or women, etc., like that. These are listed as. So there's. We hear how after after every day when they would be fighting, then at the end of the day, when everything would stop, they would go in. You could go to the enemy's camp without any problem. They were friends. They were fighting in the day, but at nighttime uh, they had uh, some principles that they followed. So dharmavit, that's mentioned in the text. Dharmavit, one uh, needs to know what are the principles of dharma, and that is why today we see so many different wars are being declared totally not on the principles of dharma, and therefore it is creating a havoc in society. So unless we have individuals who are trained uh, in the codes of religion, uh, whether it is as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, everyone within the system of Varnashrama needs to follow and respect different codes. And according to one's Varna, there are particular codes that are given. So these things are meant to be taught, and it's only when um, these principles are followed. Just like someone sent a text about how in the UK are about to have elections, I think in the beginning of July. And because there are many Hindus, big population at our Bhaktivedanta Manor all the time, especially on Sundays, thousands of Hindus come. So because those who actually follow, who know about Dharma, people who are Hindus have some understanding of dharma, um, and they pretty well different groups, I guess, of Hindus made a petition just recently, trying to impress upon those who will be running for elections that you please take into consideration these different points that Hindus especially follow and respect. I forget all the different details that are mentioned. But at the end of the petition, it was mentioning that people who are in England, for the vast majority, their lifestyle is not simply based on um, political decision, but it's based on principles of dharma. Uh, so that is actual culture. Uh, culture. That is why we know how Srila Prabhupada mentioned that our our success in spreading Krishna consciousness will be especially in presenting the culture, cultural. Um, he called it, what is it? Cultural conquest. Cultural conquest, and of course, culture has to do with philosophy, has to do with morality, has to do with lifestyle as well. So, but sometimes there are, as in this case, we'll see this unfolding in the next few verses, um, because Ashwatthama had not followed the principles of dharma by killing innocent boys in their sleep as well. So such a person needs to be killed. At the same time, there's an injunction that brahmanas should not be killed. So sometimes it becomes complicated to decide, well, what should be done, what is actual uh, right thing to be done. So this is, therefore, it requires a very deep understanding of these principles of dharma. And of course, Krishna is the one who knows best about dharma, but personalities like Arjuna also know dharma. That is what is very much lacking in society today, is that dharma, which means basically religious principles, is not simply meant to be understood and followed by those who are like spiritual, let's say by brahmanas. Dharma is not only for brahmanas. The kshatriyas in the Vedic culture, kshatriyas who had three main areas of responsibility. What are the three main areas or duties of kshatriyas? In three simple words. One is protection, isn't it? They're meant to protect physically, and they're meant to protect the principles of dharma, foremost. That's why actually in the beginning, when India became independent, um, and they were writing the constitution, you may know or may not know, I don't know. There were two constitutions being written up. Um, one was more in keeping with the Vedic culture, and within that, generally a constitution is like a big book because it has so much of information, so many different codes, etc. And in that particular version, there were I saw a short clipping that showed actually that constitution. They had so many copies, and it showed the different pictures, like for example of Lord Ramachandra, Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman. It showed different scenes of the Vedic culture. Mm, Somehow, for different reasons, that was not accepted. Um, so the point being, this is a misunderstanding when people say, well, you know, political leaders, they should not, well, what we have around the world is what we call secular states. Uh, so secular states is not properly understood. The secular state doesn't mean not supporting religion per se. Secular means not favoring a particular religion over another religion. But in the Vedic culture, uh, because Vedic culture addresses the principle or the concept of religion in a very clear but broad manner, means you can practice, as properly explained, you can practice this religion or that religion, but you have to follow the codes of religiosity. So that's why if one is not well versed on the principles of dharma, if one has not studied, especially because Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are the main books that actually in detail present these codes of dharma, because the Vedas, which is maybe less known or not known to most people, are not ordinary scriptures. I mean, they are presenting what is called Sanatan Dharma. They are presenting eternal principles and concepts, different from any other scripture, such as the Bible and Quran, etc., which are given to mankind according to time, place, and circumstance. So these principles of dharma are especially found. That's why the Vedas, the Vedic literatures, are not books of a particular religion. They are announcing, they're explaining, they're based on the principles of eternal principles of dharma. So the first responsibility of someone who is meant to be a leader, nowadays we don't have kings, we have presidents or prime ministers, is actually protection on different levels, especially protection of dharma. That means that Kshatriyas were well versed. That means Arjuna also knew the principles of dharma. So protection, then administration is the second area of responsibility for Kshatriyas. They're meant to organize society, and they're meant to organize society based on the principles of Varna and Asrama. That's actually very important. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in his Sajjana Toshani that Vedic sociology is actually, sociology means the science of society. Society, the best and ideal social system. The best social system is that system naturally created by Krishna, which is the system of Varna and Asrama, as wrongly understood by most, let's say, scholars. Most scholars think that this was a system introduced just, recently, or whatever, a few hundred years back, that it was created by, brahmanas. That is not the case. It's an eternal system. So protection, administration, and the third area of responsibility is welfare, providing in times of difficulty or in times of calamities, providing for the the praja, for the citizens who are dependent on the care and protection of the those in leadership position. So, so therefore, in other words, the subject matter of dharma, we see the word dharma comes up so many times, isn't it? In the Bhagavad Gita, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai Pumsam Parvo Dharma, Diparam Dharma, in the Bhagavad Gita, of course, Dharma Samstapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge, hundreds of times, because dharma is what is meant to guide our daily lives. Without, well, Prabhupada quotes one verse explaining that if there is no dharma, then it's animal society, isn't it? I mean, animals don't understand, don't know, don't have the ability or the capacity to know or to follow dharma. They follow their instinct. So when we also, in the human form, as human beings, if we simply also follow our instinct, then we're not properly utilizing our what is especially given. That is called, yeah, nate vidu swarta katim hi vishnum. Swarta, swa-artha. What is swa-artha? What is the meaning of artha? For some, it's money, artha. Dharma, kama, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, artha. But there is paramartha. There is ordinary artha, means material needs that we all have, but also in the human form of life, one comes to know, if one is fortunate, that there is the real wealth, the real benefit is on the spiritual level, to know about Vishnu or to know about Krishna ultimately. And these are all, of course, given in these principles of dharma. So this is, I was mentioning a little earlier, Krishna is instructing, beginning to instruct. This is, I think he speaks in about maybe 5 verses, and this is the second instruction that he's giving. Any thoughts or comments on this so far? Otherwise, we can. Yes.
So when I read many times this conversation between Krishna and Arjuna
Regarding Ashwatthama.
Yeah, agricultural bhagavatam. So it looks like still many informations are not given. Like in some of the purports, Prabhupada says the Sridham Swami says that, so according to his opinion, like that and like that. So there are different acharyas who give different purports, comments for that.
Yes.
But still I don't understand that we are speaking of Dharma, Param Dharma, and it's very clear. Krishna says, kill him immediately.
Yes.
And Arjuna says, I don't like it. And he doesn't care. So what gives Krishna right to give an order to a high general? Still it is a war. He is just a chariot driver according to his role.
Right.
Of course, he is a supreme person, but still he's a chariot driver. And he ordering the high general do something. That's first of all what gives him right.
Yes.
If his right is because I am a supreme person of Godhead, that means he is interfering war, if still war situation, he is acting against his promise. You know, personally do something or ordering a person that gives advice is one thing, but it's not like the advice and that verse. It's order. Then the second one, what gives the right Arjuna to say no?
So, from your perspective or understanding, Arjuna should have just followed Krishna and killed Aswatthama.
I don't know, but it looks like there are some other unknown principles. I believe that Krishna was not making mistake, Arjuna was not making mistake, because no one mentioning that Arjuna was mistaking in
Correct.
saying, I don't like it, and let's see. He have a right to make mistake. I know, but there is not mentioned that he made a mistake. So I consider that somehow it's right what he did. But what is the principle on that he have right to say, no, Krishna, I don't follow your order?
Well, we've not mentioned, at least today, but in this whole scenario, in this whole incident, the Draupadi factor is there. Draupadi, who's lost her 5 sons, doesn't want Aswatthama to be killed.
But that Arjun doesn't know yet. There's a later Draupadi discussed that I don't want him to kill. At that moment, Arjuna knows, yeah, it's okay, I will kill him. Not Draupadi told, no, don't kill him. When you go out, when he promised, I will bring the head of this rascal. That was not discussed at that time, so it will come up later. Draupadi could change her mind.
Yes. Well, Arjuna also knows that Aswatthama is the son of a Brahmana, and Brahmanas should not be killed.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes in trying to ascertain, in trying to understand what is the actual siddhanta or what is the right thing to be done, like this in this incident, it's not completely clear. Yeah. So same thing happened also in the in the assembly when Draupadi was being insulted, isn't it? I mean, great personalities like Bhishma Dev, Vidura, and others were there, and they know about dharma, but yet they did not properly act. So that means that in some instances, I would say rare instances like this one, then the it is not always immediately obvious. So the end result, of course, is that Arjuna understands, of course, the position of Krishna, that he's the Supreme Lord and he should be followed. And that will be coming up later, of course. He also he wants to take into consideration Krishna's order to kill, and also at this point he may not have directly heard from Draupadi that don't kill him, but he's well, Krishna is just speaking to him now. So we have to see it as it unfolds. It's like I think
Later more clear that Krishna mentioned that different persons want you to do differently, contradictory. So you have to decide, and you have to satisfy all the persons.
Yeah, eventually.
That's later conversation. That's correct. But in this situation, There's a direct order, and Arjuna didn't follow that order, and still no one mentioned that he made a mistake.
Yes.
So if we consider that, I can say to my temple president, if he directly ordered me to, of course not to killing someone, but kick out of, for example, someone, and say, no, I don't like it.
Well, the temple president is not quite on the level of Krishna. Temple president is
My
not
spiritual
Krishna.
master says something, and I say, I don't like it because of this situation, so I like something to do others. But still, I am a good disciple. You should bless me.
There are exceptional situations, and this falls in the category of an exceptional situation. And I don't think we can generalize and just, okay, Arjuna didn't listen, so I don't have to listen like that. We have to we have to hear out the whole episode, the whole lila, and then try to come out with. So obviously, Arjuna, we will see as it. Krishna is speaking right now, and then after Krishna speaks, then Arjuna will present his reason or his argument. So until we
So
hear,
what the devotee is supposed to do and have different, for example, this topic causing a little disturbance, a little bit, doubt in the great faith in different persons.
yes,
So how have to go step by step to conceal that,
yes.
to get the states of consciousness when he is satisfied? What are the processes which the devotee should do?
Well, that probably happens quite a few times. That we may at times get opposing instructions or instructions that we feel may not be appropriate, although it's coming from a higher authority. Then we need to consult with other authorities. Our whole, as we are taught by our acharyas, we ourselves need to understand as much as possible what are the codes of dharma, religious principles. But because it's a very deep subject matter, then it is quite natural to consult with those who know more. That's why, especially the commentaries of great Vaishnavacharyas are of great importance. So in our, let's say, common day life or activities, if we are faced with such a situation, then we should consult with other Vaishnavas who are senior, who have possibly more insight as to what ideally should be done. So these are our three principles, right? Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. These three guiding principles. If we follow them, we generally can come to a proper understanding or make the proper decision. Yeah.
For example, there was a situation when Prabhupada was in his deathbed
Yes.
in September, October, and he sent message for all temples that no, every disciple come to me.
Right.
And my Guru Maharaj got the message on the airport on distribution book, and he went to the devotees came together. No, we go home to the temple, we pack and we go. And that was his understanding he should do.
Right.
And then they went to the temple and they told to the temple president, as Prabhupada message, you've got the message, we've got the message. No, we pack together and we go to Vrindavan. And the temple president told, no. You should understand that Prabhupada sent that message, but Prabhupada's more satisfied if you stay and distribute books. And he told that it was not just immediately accepted it, but then most of the devotees accepted it.
Right.
But he told that later that I feel that was a mistake because Prabhupada dies only one, or leave the bottom one, and we should be with him because he was asking, and whatever happens with the temple, yeah, close the temple, later we open it again. So
Correct.
that's I feel that sometimes in the life, once or twice, that is happening for the devotee, and we need
Yes.
to prepare.
Yes.
Do you remember that time?
Yes. I was. That was actually I was in Mayapur at that time. I was 77. But we were not told to go to Vrindavan. Yeah, or I don't.
You don't
Unless you were in management or maybe close to management, one would not know that instruction coming from Srila Prabhupada. I don't recall that particular. Only later on I came to know that Prabhupada had indicated in that way that all my disciples should come to Vrindavan. Of course, from the management point of view, as you mentioned, that's what happened to a large extent. Also, devotees were, or at least many devotees were told, no, better you continue your seva like that. So, yeah, sometimes there will be such kind of difficult decisions to be taken, and I think every situation has to be taken on its merit, um, because what I do remember at that time was that I mean those were obviously very intense. Very intense time within the society because everyone knew that Prabhupada was very ill, and that he was not getting better. But I remember because that was a famous conversation that was immediately shared actually within the society when Prabhupada was like this, very weak and not eating for a long time. And then the devotees, his very close disciples, most senior disciples, many of whom were in Vrindavan, they were trying to figure out what to do, and so that is recorded actually that one fine day they all together resolved that okay, we just have to somehow plead and request Prabhupada that Prabhupada, you're a pure devotee. If Krishna wants to, he can have you stay. And if you want, you can tell Krishna that I have to stay a little longer. So they went to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was just, was very weak, but he was hearing, and then, devotees, at that time it was Kirtanananda, who was like one of the senior most persons, and he was trying to, not easy to express in this way on behalf of all the other devotees. And then at one point he just like broke down, started crying, other devotees also. And then Prabhupada said, okay, I'll stay. Okay, I'll stay. And everyone is like, Haribol, Jai. And that news came, I remember that news coming. I was here in Mayapur. And so it was like, I don't know, the whole Leela going on because Prabhupada was, telling before making that statement, I have to go like that. But then to please his devotees, he mentioned, okay, I'll stay. He stayed a little longer, but ultimately did not. So when I remember when I heard that report, as all the devotees did, wherever they were, I thought, well, Prabhupada's going to stay. So don't have to go to Vrindavan. That was also there.
In this case, not.
If he's going to stay, then although Prabhupada had mentioned, now I forget now when he made that statement that everyone should come. Before he said I'll stay, or after he said I'll stay. Yeah. So
Perhaps before.
yeah.
First he told everyone come, and then in the last few weeks he told that I remember like that was the
All right. Yeah. So so yeah, sometimes matters relating to dharma are little not always 100% clear. Yeah. Any other? So yeah.
Maharaj, I have another question.
Yes.
That every education should depend on the Guru Parampara. Like Kshatriyas also should have gurus to teach them.
Yes.
But how the Guru Parampara will re-establish in these different levels, like Kshatriya, Guru Parampara. Because otherwise, if you just start to teach some persons who become leaders, Kshatriyas, other group will teach them in a different system, and they will just argue. I learned that. I don't know. I learned that other system, and then someone will establish another teaching course for Kshatriyas, and they will teach different shastra, different ways. So that would be a big chaos.
Well, that's why in the first of the subject matters, in the first of the there is what is called Chatur Vidya, the four sciences, the four basic sciences, which is what everyone is meant to learn. In the first, it is the first is Anvikshiki, science of philosophy, and that's divided into Sankhya, Yoga, and Tarka. Tarka means the art, excuse me, the art and the science of argument based on Shastra. So, I mean, throughout history, I mean, we just have to go, here in Navadvip 500 years ago, Navadvip was the seat of Brahmanas learning, I mean, that's why is Digvijay came to challenge the Brahmanas of Navadvip, right? So this is actually something very healthy and needed because it helps to clearly and strongly establish the Siddhanta. So in our context, in terms of the society, then that is one of many reasons why it is so important to introduce Varnashrama College. Because Prabhupada wanted that within Varnashrama College, we teach these principles of Dharma in relation to Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Isn't it? So, in other words, it's like the Dharma Shastras. One who will learn to become Kshatriya, so his training, his teaching, his knowledge is meant to come primarily from the Dharma Shastras. You see, so in other words, it's like although we have the same book, Bhagavad Gita, sometimes there are differences of understanding. So that needs to be clarified. So it will be there also, like for example, big topic which we don't really talk about very much, but is one of the four sciences, which is very fundamental for our very existence, and that is the science of, I was talking about artha, Then there is Varta. Artha means benefit or opulence or money, wealth. Varta is the Vedic, what is called science of economics, isn't it? So, in all the universities around the world, they have the same subject matter of economics, but they don't know what is actual economics. I mean, from the Vedic point of view, because the most scientific, most simple, most natural, and most sustainable economy is that economy based on Krishi Goraksha, unknown today, isn't it? So this is like, especially because this addresses the situation of our householders. Householders. Here's all saffron. Householders. So most of our householders within our society, they don't know what is actual science of economics. They don't know that actually majority of people, I mean, there will be different professions, being a doctor, that's the medical activity. But majority of people will not be doctors. Majority of people will not be, taking up a Brahminical profession. Majority of people will be Vaishyas and Shudras. And their activity, their what we call um, yeah, prescribed duty, as mentioned both in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, what is meant to be the prescribed duty of the majority of householders in society, including majority of our householders as devotees, is connected with Krishi Goraksha. So that's why, Grandfather Bhishma Dev's most important instruction regarding the three gifts of nature, cows, land, and Krishna, are not known or not properly understood. Otherwise, here in Mayapur, where we have 750 acres of land, the whole master plan is covering, that, and so a lot of that acreage is actually at present for agriculture. But we are yet to understand the proper means.
Agriculture, which is protecting the cows.
Yeah, you cannot do agriculture.
But
Yeah.
not
Yes.
on not on that principle.
So therefore, we are lacking in this proper understanding. We're lacking in proper training. When Varnashram College is not there, so these topics are not discussed or not understood, and therefore we are actually not in keeping with the codes of dharma, the principles of dharma. Yeah. Okay, I heard the bell. I mean, the TOVP, dong, dong, dong. Very good, actually. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Go